Hey guys, welcome back into another video, and yes, this is the classic Arcane opening, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 4 new augment mods. These 4 new augment mods are the Rubble Heap, Abundant Mutation, Enraged, and Revealing Spores. Let's get right into it. First of all, Rubble Heap. This augment is for Atlas and is quite conditional. When you have more than 1400 rubble, your landslide will cost no energy, deals twice the amount of damage, and travels 2 times more faster. To me, this augment is kind of like a yes and no. You see, maintaining that amount of rubble should be quite easy because you can just spam 3 and 1 all day long and you will still have more than 1400 rubble. Casting landslide with no energy is definitely a nice thing. That double damage and double travel speed is also pretty good. But that means you have to sacrifice a mod slot just to put this in. I mean, you could have went with more power strength, more power range, or even other utility mods. To me, this augment is pretty good when you don't have a good stat stick build, like one of those god-driven miter builds out there. Next, let's take a look at Abundant Mutation. This is for our infested Warframe, Nidus. To me, this is a pretty good augment mod if you're trying to use one of those cliché Nidus builds. It allows you to have 300 maximum mutation stacks. And yes, your first and fourth ability will continue to scale. This is going to be even better if you're trying to use one of those builds where you only focus on his first ability. But here's the catch. Undying, which is your passive, it will have a 30-second cooldown. To me, 30 seconds isn't that big of a deal because when you have Undying triggered, you already know that you are in a pretty dire situation. You probably have found cover within that 30 seconds or you will have switched strats. To me, this is actually a pretty good augment. If you want to use it, go ahead. I actually highly recommend this one. Next, let's take a look at Enraged. This augment is for Valkyr. This is an augment for your Hysteria, which increases your damage and critical chance by 200%, and it is also scaled with power duration. At first glance, this might be a pretty good augment because it doubles your damage and doubles your critical chance. Upon first hit, you're able to get a red crit, which is actually pretty insane. And then your DPS is going to have a major boost because of this augment. But the downside of this augment is that it adds a cooldown to your Hysteria. If your Hysteria lasts for like 30 seconds, it's going to have a 30-second cooldown as well. Personally, I don't really like this augment because it forces you to have a kinda low power duration build. And another thing is, it doesn't take away the energy drain from this ability. The energy drain is not too big of a deal, but the problem is about the cooldown. If they change this cooldown to be 70% of your Hysteria's duration, then that would be pretty cool. Other than that, I think this is a pretty good augment. It's just that the cooldown might be heavily affected by your power duration. Finally, let's talk about Revealing Spores. This is an augment mod for Saryn. I think this is a pretty good quality of life augment right here. You see, the problem with Spores is that sometimes you just don't know whether the enemy is actually being affected by it or not. So you're going to have a pretty hard time to spread your spores around effectively because you just don't know who is getting affected by spores. Even though you see damage numbers on your screen, they might not be affected by your spores, which is why Revealing Spores is going to save your ass. I kid you not, I'm actually having a way more easier time to spread my spores with this augment on. I would say this is a pretty good augment for Saryn because it's more of a quality of life improvement and it doesn't really contribute to damage, but it does make the gameplay much more satisfying. And also you will get a little bit more information because you know who is getting affected by spores. And that's pretty much it for the video today. Do tell me what you guys think about these augments in the comment section below. If you guys like this video, then be sure to leave a like, write a nice comment, and please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you guys in another video. Goodbye.